Hi, my name is Rachel, and I'm here to share what God is doing in my life. Today, I want to read for you a short testimony that I have written out about how God has healed me from mental illness. And I hope in reading this that it can touch somebody out there who is also struggling in pain and in torment. The power of God to bring you deliverance and healing. As I said, my name is Rachel, and I grew up in church. Both my parents are ministers, and they were missionaries. After graduating high school, I also went to Bible school. I completed a 3-year program, so I have known a lot about the things of God through my whole life, but I never walked in it. And when I say that, I don't mean it in the open rebellion sense of a sinful lifestyle. In fact, I always tried very hard to be good. My not walking in it was a quiet wall that I put up where the goodness, the greatness, the miraculous wonders, the joy and strength of the Lord did not apply for me. I believed Jesus died so I could be forgiven and go to heaven, and that he did good and wonderful things for people. But there was no personal acceptance of what his life means for my life here on earth. So from a young age, I've faced a lot of hardships and suffering from events, but also in mental illness, from a variety of factors. There's family history, there's environmental with circumstances, and there's also the spiritual realm. So I suffered with depression, anxiety, self-hatred, and self-harm. There was an overwhelming shame from secret sins in my heart and my mind, and having to keep the sins of other people secret as well, that weighed on me and affected my mind. Instead of turning to the Lord, there was that wall there that I believed that God could conceptually, but that he probably wouldn't for me. And so I never trusted God with my pain, and I was scared to get close to him because of the shame I felt, and I was convinced that I would fail at whatever he asked of me. And that was the basis for lies that the enemy of our souls, the devil, used against me in my mind to elevate my circumstances and my suffering above God, above his character, and to lie about his power and his power at work for me. Over the years, I've prayed many desperate prayers, and looking back, I can see where every time, even having those false beliefs about God and me, he preserved my life and had mercy on me. And I would have encounters with God, but in the end, there was still always that wall. I was still serving my circumstances and my suffering. I trusted and put my faith in the fact that things always went wrong, that something bad was always around the corner. And in that, I turned to the world, medicine, many doctors, and the best that they could ever offer was a level of what I called cope and not hope. Band-aids that got me to a point of accepting that the best that I could have, the best that I could accept for my life, that I had accepted for my life, was having to wake up every day and having to make the intentional choice to keep living. And as long as I have my husband and my daughter, I can keep making that choice and it would be worth it. And I was actually grateful to have been at that point. 6 months ago, my family was suddenly torn apart. I had been isolated for years. I didn't have anyone close. The one person who I confided in, who my life was depending on, was taken away, was out of my life. And I was hit with the terrifying realization that I can't do this. I don't have the strength to keep making that choice, and I'm not going to make it. And in that moment of terror, I cried out to God, and I brought that hopelessness to him. And I said, God, I don't have anything or anyone but you. And after years of not being able to hear the voice of the Lord speaking to me, hardly ever in my life, I heard God saying, who am I? Who do you believe I am? Not what do you know, but what do you believe? And what do you believe about what Jesus accomplished? Not in just his dying on the cross and the shedding of his blood, but his defeat of hell and death, that he rose again as a conqueror and even now sits in reigning power. Choose now what you believe. And in that moment, I chose to believe that he is God and that he is greater than anything that I have gone through, anything that I have done, anything that was done to me. I began to read his word with myself in mind, that when he talks about his children, that's for me. When he gives promises for those that love and fear him, that's for me. When he says he fights the battle and no one and nothing can stand against him, that's for me. When he says the same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead, that broke even the chains of death, because it was not possible that he should be held by it, that's for me. And that is when the affliction and torment began to break off of me. And since that day, he's been healing and restoring my heart and mind in ways that I never imagined possible. And I can now say that I am free. I am completely free from mental illness because of the power of what God did for me. I don't have to live in submission and subservience to that suffering and torment anymore, because Jesus won the victory for me. His word declares that that's his will for me, and I chose to believe it. And now I'm choosing to walk in agreement with that, with who God is and what he says. So I encourage you today to know that God is good. He is alive and he is full of power. Power to save, power to deliver you. Not just people in the Bible, not just in foreign lands. You, right now where you are, God is mighty to save. And he proved it. He didn't withhold even his own son. He shed his own blood to set you free. Not just that when you die, you can get into heaven, but so that you can have victory over the curse of hell and death here on earth. Thank you for watching.